All right, folks, you certainly know what that theme song means by now. That's right. It's time for another episode of America Matters. I'm your host, Leo Zaki, and joining me today is Greg. Before we jump
What's up,
into
baby?
Oh, we're happy to have you, brother. But before we jump into anything, I got to give a big shout out, hello, welcome, and thank you to everybody out there tuned in on Radio for America, the Answer Network, AUN Television, the Salem Network, the Kevin Jackson Network, and of course to everybody listening on AUN and 93.7 KPGF as well as AM 1060, and everybody out there making this broadcast happen. Thank you so much for tuning in and for putting this broadcast out there. But like I mentioned, we got Greg on fire with us. This guy is all over social media. He does a lot of great satire. He covers a lot of just different topics, whether it's Kevin Hart, explaining his failed roulette strategies, uh, or making fun of Gavin Newsom, or just really just putting great comedy out there. Because for me, what I think is that laughter and comedy are the best ways to measure the truth, because the more people that are laughing at it, the more true it probably is. And we've seen just the degradation of comedy over the last years through this woke nonsense. And well, Greg, you've been pushing through that. So first off, welcome to America Matters, and thank you for helping bring the comical relief through and truth through that to everybody.
Thanks, Leo, for having me. It was great to meet you. Met you at Turning Point. You're a stand-up guy, and you and your guys are just awesome. So I really appreciate you having me on. Yeah, no, I appreciate the shout-outs on the comedy. You know, everybody likes to think that they're funny. I do them, and then I hope that I'm funny. But to be honest with you, like that's probably one of my favorite things to do is just to parody people, to make fun of ridiculous left-wingers and the politicians and everyone now, because let's face it, the only real truth, I mean, the only thing that's really funny is what's true. I mean,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think that's the best way to measure if it is actually in fact true, is if you can laugh at it.
right? Yeah. I mean, I think that I laugh at my own stuff an unhealthy amount. Like I actually do. Like I will play my feedback, and my kids and my wife will be like, "What are you laughing at?" And I'm like, she's like, "Send me the reel." And I'm like, "No, it's a draft. Like I'm recording myself right now." So I don't know. That, in all honesty, I think you're right on there, though. I think the one thing to me was I was always trying to find something funny, like my whole life since I was young, and I did media and art and stuff, and I always wanted to find things that made me laugh, and I was inspired by people that made me laugh. So I was like, there's nothing more fun than that to me. And then bridging that, I guess we can say, with the reality of the world today, politics and the ridiculousness we're seeing on the left, it's like it's the perfect combination. It's pure cinema to me.
Well, you do a great job with it, and you've got quite
Thank
the
you, man.
following across multiple platforms. I mean, you're on X, you're on Instagram, you're on TikTok, and you're also in a rock band too, as well. So you're no stranger to being on stage and in front of a large audience. So I guess it comes natural for you, and you just got a good outlook on life, and you seem to be someone who just wants to have fun with things. But that's the whole point, right? If you're not having fun, what the hell's the point of doing it?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's too many people that take life so seriously, and they get so caught up in their feelings. And I think it's funny to make fun of people for the flaws that they have, because if you're doing that, you're pointing things out to people, then they're kind of saying, "Oh, wait a second, I see how ridiculous I look, or I see how ridiculous those people look. Do I want to be like those?" And then it almost triggers something neurologically that says, I got to lighten up, and life is more fun than just being pissed off all the time.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the news seems to piss everybody off on a consistent basis, and whether it's the news doing it on purpose to stoke the fire or just our leaders. And I wanna give them benefit of the doubt of incompetence, but I can't do that. I think that what's happening is intentional.
I can't blame you. I mean, there's too many coincidences. They say it's always a conspiracy theory until it comes true,
Right.
How many times in the last 10 years, let's be honest here, how many times in the last 10 years since even Donald Trump was president was a conspiracy theory an actual conspiracy? Like it was real. And we see it happening over and over again, and with leaders right now in Congress, with California, we're seeing all these things that have come up, and then you wait 5 years and they're like, wait a second, that was real. And at the time, you're getting nailed. You're getting
yeah, you're being labeled as like some lunatic idiot. And I always tell people conspiracy theory. Well, first off, it was developed by the CIA back in the 60s to quiet dissenters on the Kennedy assassination. That's number one fact. Number two, it's two separate words. Conspiracy meaning two or more people getting together to do something nefarious, and theory being the plausibility that could be the outcome. And when you drop the plausibility, it's just two people. It's just a bunch of people getting together to do bad things. And unfortunately, those bad things impact, well, certainly everybody in this country, but even more so around the world, depending on what those actions may or may not be. So that's the situation that we're constantly having to push back against. But with what you do with your satire, it really helps bring people into the fold and saying, look how ridiculous this sounds. Look how you're laughing at it. Do you really believe that's the truth? Or are they full of crap?
Yeah, I mean, it makes you actually kind of see it in a different light. And I personally feel like the number one way that I'm like, I come to life mentally and realize what's going on, and then almost go down rabbit holes that you shouldn't go down, is when you see somebody break open a hilarious skit of satire, basically portraying a character or a situation that you would never otherwise even take seriously if you're watching the news or anything. You would be like, yeah, and there's no way. You see people talking about it. You're just kind of like, yeah, buddy, sounds great. I want to live in the Matrix. But then all of a sudden you see something hilarious, and it could crack it open for you, and just you're kind of like, wait a second, that guy really does act like that. He really did say those things. Oh my God, that's actually a real thing.
Exactly. It's all about how you get people to recognize these things. Greg, we're going to take our first break here on America Matters. When we get back, we're going to continue the conversation, my friend. I'm Leo Zaki with Greg on Fire. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. That's 800-432-8150.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
All right, folks, we are back with America Matters. I'm your host, Leo Zacking. Joining me today is Greg on Fire. And, well, he's a great influencer. He's been on TikTok. He's on Twitter. He's on X, whatever. He's on Instagram. And he puts out all these great pieces. And he's got a really great one he just put out. It's doing really well, where he does an amazing impression of Gavin Newsom, talking about the gerrymandering. And, well, I want to play this one for you guys. So here, roll the tape.
Hey, how are you? My favorite type of constituent. It's America's favorite governor here. Just wanted to do a little last throat punch to Donald Trump, okay? So we are going to gerrymander California to get rid of Republicans' chances of ever holding a seat again. Yeah, that's right. Because as everyone knows, he tries to say we're high taxes, average, low taxes. He tries to say high crime, lying about that. Trying to say how many homes were destroyed in the fires. Everything he says is a lie. And look, I'm here for Californians. I'm here for you. Yes. I'm trying to make sure that you all have a great future. I'm trying to leave my legacy as the best state you've ever seen. And when California gets gerrymandered, and when we gerrymander to district these seats to combat Governor Abbott, you're gonna see Republicans will never take California again. That I can tell you. So Donald Trump, let me just tell you right now, I'm a great guy, awesome guy. I do what I say, tough as nails. Most beloved governor of California, at least I think. That's democracy playing out. Anyways, I enjoy seeing you all again, and I love you so much. You want an autograph?
Mr. Newsom, can you sign my septum piercing?
I'll try to sign the nose ring. You got a pen?
Dude, you're so spot on with that voice, too. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's like, what did you do? You just, like, ran through a carton of cigarettes?
Honestly, I don't know. I went with Batman. I channeled Batman. I feel like, and my first impression of Gavin Newsom was he's the perfect guy to be like Bruce Wayne's next arch nemesis. And then I was like, wait a second. The reason why I actually thought about that is because he sounds like Christian Bale's Batman. But I don't really know what the deal is with that or whatever it is. But to be honest with you, it was funny to watch this back just now. And I'm glad we did, because I realized I did that yesterday, and today he was announcing this morning. Basically, this is virtually almost identical to the way it went. That's what's scary. You know,
I mean, that's the thing, because like you did it so well, like from his mannerisms, the weird like having to repeat himself, say the same sentence like twice in two different ways. I mean, it's very clear that you are very tuned into this, and you're a Florida man, not one of those like crazy Florida man.
Florida man. Oh yeah, not the Florida man, not the zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you know, you've been out to California quite a bit with your band back in the day, and so you definitely, you know what California could be, should be, ought to be, and what it ain't.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time in which I lived in Florida, and we used to say, "I wish I lived in California." It was a thing, you know. And Florida used to be the state. People are like, your grandparents go there to retire and go. And we used to say we would just want to go to California. I want to tour with my band to California. That's where it's happening. You know, everybody's cool there. It's the best weather, the best cities, everything. And when I was younger and I went on tour there, it was true. I went to Hollywood. I did so many things. I went to San Diego, and you really didn't see. You saw a lot of beauty, but you didn't really see like the people spread across the streets. You didn't really worry about being out a little bit when it got dark in Venice. I was in Venice. I'll never forget. We're walking around when the sun's setting. We're canoeing, and then we get out of the little canals and we walk right down the boardwalk when it's getting dark, and we watch the fireworks off the pier. And I saw videos the other day where people are saying you can't walk around Venice anymore.
Oh hell no!
Because there are shankers in Venice now.
Yeah, no, I don't hang out in Venice anymore. It's totally, it's not safe. It's filthy. There's homeless everywhere, and you know, and it's not that the homeless people are bad. It's that they have mental health problems, and they're schizo, and they're talking to themselves, and they're aggressive, and they're on drugs, and so it's not a safe place, and it's not a clean place. And because Venice used to be a cool spot, like Venice was, there are still like these little islands of gentrification, like like you can still go to Abbot Kinney, but there's still homeless people there, and like literally human feces on the sidewalk. So if you're willing to deal with that, I mean, there are still some good bars, but I don't advocate for going down to Venice.
Yeah, I got ruined. And so now, as you know, there was this mass exodus happening with a lot of people to Florida because of the way that the taxes were so high. You get taxed on everything over there. And, Florida still having clean air, still having clean water, still, having a little bit more freedom. And in my opinion, I'm not trying to be the super Florida champion here, but, I see a difference of me going 15 years ago saying, I can't wait to go back to Venice. That was so fun. And then, me going on a business trip 10 years ago, getting, nearly robbed, and then all my stuff stolen out of my rental car. And then till now saying, sorry, kids, like my family, like probably not going there for a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's heartbreaking for me too, because, this is where I'm born and raised. My family's been here for 120 years, and it's not what it can be and what it should be. And it breaks my heart because all my friends are getting married and having kids, and they're moving out of state. Like another one of my hockey teammates is moving to Utah this Saturday. So, that's probably like the 8th or 9th one of my teammates that's now moving out of state because it's just not a place that's affordable, and it's not worth the money and the crap that you have to put up with. And then when you have, Gavin Newsom going out and talking about gerrymandering the state, right? And wanting to, redistrict and all this stuff because it's a big war between Democrats and Republicans. What happened to we the people, right? Why is it like forget this left and right crap. How about the fact that nothing's working and everything's broken, and you're fixated on fighting against the president of the United States to, secure the House and all this stuff? Like, I mean, it's obvious that the guy is planning on running for president in 28. There's no shadow of a fraction of a doubt that that's what's occurring. But it's how he's so fixated on this Democrat Republican battle that we, the people of California, are being left by the wayside.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect example of what you were just saying, and we keep running into perfect examples. But I had done that video, and the ladies, a lady came in and commented in the thread. There's like hundreds, thousands of comments, and the lady comes in and says, "You only, you're the people posting here in these comments. By the way, all the comments saying thank you for speaking out against this, and I'm from California, and my state's ruined." And I said, with the Gavin Newsom video, and I said, most of the people that see this, I can pull my analytics right now. For 75% of the people seeing this video are new viewers, and people are coming on here that aren't even friends with me. My followers are going up crazy at the moment because it's people that are coming on and just seeing it. They didn't know what I was. They didn't know if I was Republican. They didn't know if I was Democrat. By the way, I registered unaffiliated person here because, like you said, to be honest with you, I might believe in the Republican, aspect of things more at this time. But I've always been open-minded to being the people first. I've always been open-minded to being, if there's an amazing Democrat, that was just like the best you've ever seen, sure, then you need to go with the best person. At this point, with the left and the way that they've gone, they've taken it to a whole fight for their side only. They don't care about everyone else anymore. And that's why I'm really, with somebody like you, Leo, that has such a history and generations in California and your family, and you're being directly there. Deeply sorry about my dog. I just really, truly I'm really happy because I know you do care from your heart. I know you're out there fighting. I know you were over here in Florida when I met you, and you don't have to be doing those things, but you're doing that for the people of the country. You're doing that for everyone, really. But more importantly, it leads back to your state being one of the greatest states in this country, one of the biggest economies in the world. You're setting an example by showing that there's somebody out there that can do something different.
Well, that's the thing is that's what really motivated me to do this, is because I'm just sick and tired of the crap. Like I've met both sides parties, right? I've met with senators and congressmen and state reps and people that are the bureaucrats, FDA, USDA, EPA. It doesn't matter what party they're affiliated with. It's the same bullcrap. It's oh well, we're going to make a deal with this side because we need them to cut a deal with us. That's just how it goes. And and they always want you to give them a donation, and all they give a crap about is being wined and dined. And I mean I know this firsthand because I've had these dinners, countless times with all these elected officials. I've been to their offices. I've tried to explain to them simple, basic concepts, and they just don't get it, and they don't care. They don't care about you or your business or your family or your livelihood. They just want to be taken care of and wine and dine. And always the biggest question is, what would these people do if they weren't elected to office? Gavin Newsom, the greatest non-employed used car salesman out there.
Definitely. That's a good way to look at it. I mean, and nobody wants to mention unofficially, I guess, family of Nancy Pelosi. What's new here?
Yeah, that's his aunt. That's by marriage, but it doesn't matter. That's right. Auntie Nancy, and what I've mentioned in speeches I've given, like the cartel. He's literally Nancy Pelosi's nephew, and he was raised very closely with the Browns. Always grew up around the Browns, and he was mentored by the Gettys, and the Gettys are the ones that helped fund his wine, Plump Jack, which is garbage, by the way. Don't drink that, poison.
I won't try it. I will not give them a dime.
Don't ever. But the point is that there is this cartel. They have found their ways into these positions of power, and it's all about securing the power for themselves because they found a way to make money off of it. And we're the ones getting screwed over. We pay the most taxes in the whole nation. We have the most homeless in the whole nation. We're getting dropped from insurance because our state is mismanaged to the nth degree. And nobody can eke out a living here. I mean, if you want to actually try and live in Los Angeles, you have to make at least $100,000 a year, and you're probably sharing a place with 2 other roommates, and you're scraping by because it's that expensive.
I'm sure it's only gotten worse. I mean, and obviously, with the inflation problem that came through with Joe Biden and the economy really going the wrong direction, the entire left being okay with funding endless wars across seas and just deceiving the people to believe that they care about the people. Mm-hmm. And then you get somebody like Donald Trump in office, and all of a sudden every little thing they're going, well, wait a second, he went to play golf, but while he was securing one of the largest trade deals in history. They don't like to talk about how when they go play golf or when Gavin Newsom goes to French Laundry to have a meal and nobody else can, that he's not getting anything else done on the taxpayer dime.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. It's just this war against the truth and the way that the media is controlled, and they spin it. And that's why voices like yours, Greg, and all the other great independent influencers out there that draw attention to this, you make a difference. So we're going to take our bottom of the hour break here. When we get back, we're going to keep the conversation rolling. I'm going to go Zach with Greg on Fire. We'll be right back.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. That's 800-432-8150.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview, didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work.
Sorry, I'm late.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
All right, folks, we are back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zaki, and joining me today is Greg on Fire. And, well, we've been talking about the content he puts out there. We were just ripping on Gavin Newsom and just all the shortcomings and really all the politicians out there that are just self-serving individuals. But, you know, their failures, like I mentioned earlier, I've grown to the point where I don't file it under incompetence. I file it under this is deliberate with what they're doing. And, you know, speaking of deliberate, you know, we just had these massive fires here in Los Angeles, and, you know, it comes up in the news every now and then, but it's not really much talked about. But Greg, you mentioned that there's some very interesting recording of Karen Bass prior to the fires. And so we've got that queued up here, and I want to share that with all of you, and then we'll break it down in a second.
Yeah, go for it.
In terms of my trip, just so you know, I'm missing 2 work days. That's it. And if President Biden extends me an invitation, I took it. And hopefully you can read in between the lines. But I would just appreciate, and it's hard for me to tell you this, but hold tight. You will understand soon.
Ominous.
Yeah. You know, I heard this a while back. The media definitely tried to suppress it. Spencer Pratt, being that he was in the Palisades, you know, a reality star I watched when I was younger in high school, met him once. He was shooting a reality show on Siesta Key over by, you know, my town. And never thought I'd see this guy come forward and be kind of somebody to continually, you know, push this message out when, like you said, the media is trying to hide it. You know, they're not putting it on the news. But like 7,000 homes plus burned to the ground and businesses and everything. And you had a mayor leave town right at the time that this was happening. And then this audio comes out.
It's alarming. You know, read between the lines. It's like maybe you know something's on the schedule to happen. I mean, considering the way that the budget cuts for the fire department, not just for LA City, but for CAL FIRE as well, and the way that we've been mismanaging the crap out of the state and capping, because we're one of a handful of states that has an insurance commissioner, capping the rates and people getting all their insurances dropped just weeks before the fire took place. Just it's a bit strange, but it's something that this kind of stuff seems to happen more often than it should, right?
It's there's just so many things you can point to, and this is just another example. But it seems like they're getting more adventurous with what they're willing to. And I you know, obviously, I'm going to say allegedly or trying to do. But there's just so many different politicians and things, and you see these stories about how they conveniently, didn't know something was going to happen or kind of turned a blind eye to it. And when you come back and ask the questions and say, wait a second, we're just looking for a little bit of accountability here. We want somebody to say, yes, there were 7,000 homes that were destroyed. Okay, so maybe you could be honest and tell us why there were no pre-deployed assets when there was a wind event. It was a known wind event for days. These are the type of things we don't understand how politicians like Gavin Newsom can continue to get away with, and he just never answers any truth.
Yeah, they always dance around these questions, and they just kind of pivot and change the subject to whatever the hell they want to talk about. And you see this happen even in like debates, like even presidential debates. It's just, the way they don't answer questions, and then like, you have the clapping seals of the boomers out there that are like, oh, he did a good job. And it's like, no, he didn't answer the question.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah. And I think that's another thing is like, I that's why I love to do what I do. And I'm a part of this whole movement right now, which really the movement, in my opinion, is America First. It's not any sort of other movement. It should be America First. MAGA is a great faction of people that want something different. A lot of them weren't Trump supporters at first, and they decided, everything else they saw going on with the Democrat Party was not cutting it. And so you got a lot of lifelong Democrats and independents who were willing to vote over party lines. Those are the types of, things you're seeing right now. And I feel like exposing Gavin Newsom and getting the message out that these people are really lying, the only way you can really do it sometimes is, like we were saying before, and bringing this back, but comedy. I'm putting out skits on TikTok and Instagram. Nobody knew, like people did not even know this was going to happen. I had people writing me this morning, a lot of people saying, oh my God, like this actually happened. I foresaw this happening. I foresaw the exact conversation in my mind. That's how badly they've become used car salesmen and not actually for the people.
Right. It's all the world's a stage, right? And it's become this Truman show of just constant bull crap that we have to deal with, and then just eat it down, right? But when you get out there and you make this content, or other content creators, influencers out there are posting things that are contrary to the narrative, and just it comes out in a way that is so raw, it resonates more with people, and that's why you're seeing the death of the mainstream right now. Their viewership is way down because nobody believes them. I mean, you still have, like I mentioned, the boomers that subscribe to that, and just, gotta watch Hannity, who I can't stand. But this whole concept of America First, right? That's really what it's about, because America First means we the people first. And what we're seeing constantly is Americans being put last, and this woke progressivism being pushed ahead of the needs of the people. And we're fed up with it.
Yeah. And social media is doing a great job. Like you were saying, it's moving away from the commie news network type of situation. I don't just mean that by CNN. I mean that by literally state propaganda. They're so mad right now that why do we think, me as a creator, why do I immediately think, as a person who does political stuff and watches these people and knows how corrupt they are, why do I immediately think that they were trying to ban TikTok? Because we're talking about things that they would never let us see 10 years ago. Right.
It's all about silencing our voices. Oh, but we want you to have the First Amendment. They talk out of both sides of their mouths. And it's not just the left; it's also the right too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's the biggest issue. Is that, look, I voted for Trump because of things that I expected and I wanted and that I was promised. And people often ask me, they're trying to tee me up an easy one. They're like, yeah, he's going to say A+, like give him a letter grade for what you think. And I'm like, no, I give him like a B-, and that's generous in my opinion.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go in earning a lot of people's opinions. I think that, I think the one thing we can say that Trump is doing right now is he's he is listening. Like, he might not make you might be like, what's he doing right now with this? But there are things that he's doing where people are speaking out and he's listening. You don't see people like a Gavin Newsom. You didn't see people like a Joe Biden saying, when we were upset when we saw that $300 billion were going over to Ukraine, and it never stopped. And every one of us were going, another 50 billion, another 20 billion. He laughed in the press conferences about it. At least we know that there's certain things being taken care of priority wise with some of our money coming back into America. So, I mean, I'm still optimistic that Trump will pull it out. He has pulled out some miracles in the past. We'll have to see, but he still has a lot of work to do. And I hope he does the work for, I think right now, the party that has a more tune in with America.
Yeah, but this whole "Make America Great Again" thing, it's bigger than Donald Trump. It's bigger than the Republican Party. It's we the people are being screwed over by our government, who is mismanaging our funds and not putting the needs of us first. Like, our infrastructure is crumbling in this country. The drug epidemic is out of control. There's 380 plus thousand missing children that have come across the border illegally. Upwards of of over at least 20 million people here illegally. Some people even estimate 52 million. There's a lot of problems. We're paying all these taxes and we're not really getting anything in return. And that's what people are upset most about. And when you draw attention to it through your skits, and people wake up, and it's not just you, it's all the other content creators out there. And the fact that you've been able to find success in this and still stick with it and do it because it's bigger than you. That's what it's about, because you're trying to one, make people laugh, but you're also trying to get people on the other side that are maybe, or not even on the other side, that are just ignorant to these facts, wake up. And that's the best thing you can do.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that, I've had so many friends that are Democrats that are literally have flipped to the Republican Party, and they still believe in a lot of moderate, middle of the road principles. The things that are driving this together aren't the radical right wing and the radical left wings that, are going to spend all their time on the 1% issues. But it's the people that just want to see inflation get better. It's the people that just want to see the homelessness get better. It's the people who want to see the taxes go down and actually get a break so they can afford, to buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
It's the people that want to see a little bit of truth and accountability with their government. And I think it's America first. I personally welcome, all the time, I have conversations with people that are Democrats, and I say, look, this is no longer about the way you need to stop thinking about this and this. That's not what the majority of people are concerned about. There's no party line, that people aren't willing to go over to at this point right now, if it means that, they're getting something that they want at all.
So how did you fall into this? I mean, you went from being a rocker to political, satirist. How did that happen?
To be honest with you, I went from being a rocker to somebody who, enjoyed the benefit of collecting a couple pennies here on the dollar from, streaming services over the years. And really just honestly miss live performances. But it went to the point where I had children, and it went to the point where I had to live and pay taxes and understand, as growing up the world as it is really. And you're living in a bubble in the art world, in Hollywood, and all of this. I was around all these crazy characters, all these huge musicians that I toured with, and they're all in a bubble. You say the word Trump, you say Republican, you say anything, they freak out. I think it's really interesting because I had so many fights with longtime friends that I grew up playing music with since I was a freshman in high school that were like, F you, man. Like, what are you doing?
They just cut you out.
You're a traitor. You're a traitor. And they just cut you out, and they say they don't want to be your friend. And you know what's really interesting? I fought through it, and I got people that were hating on me. But you know what's really wild is now a lot of those people all of a sudden are like, hey, man, how you been? And that, amazing. I think that's, it's
amazing how that comes back in just a little bit of time. Today's conspiracy theories are tomorrow's truths, right?
That's the big thing. A lot of them are seeing things. They were like, never talk to me again. And I'm like, I just think this person probably did something wrong. I don't care. Never talk to me again. That's my party allegiance. That's this, that's that. Now, all bets are off, really.
It's that hive mind, but we're breaking through it. Greg, we got to take our last break here on America Matters. Everybody out there, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Barbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen, would like to thank every customer for your loyalty and continued support through these challenging times. Call for takeout and delivery of rib tips, brisket, ahi, tuna, roasted veggies, and much more. Barbecue's open from 11 to 7, Monday through Saturday, and delivers hot food safe and healthy. Call 499-5855 for details. 499-5855 Barbecue, as featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. Get real. Get into Barbecue Reno.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
All right, folks, we're back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zaki, and joining me is Greg on Fire, the
What's up?
social network influencer extraordinaire. Could be a stand-up comic. I think you do great with that. And I think one of the things that you poke a lot of good fun at is, well, just how stupid socialism is and the failures of it. And I think what you're doing by drawing attention to that is important. I mean, because New York is about to have a straight-up Marxist mayor.
Yeah, the guy, I mean, and, you know, cue the skits to come. I mean, this is like comedy gold for weeks to come, because there's no way that a guy who's talking about the things he's talking about has a plan for success. And we, you know, just look at the history of socialism alone, and then for them to come in and say this is the way, and then for people like Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to get on the record and they say, what do you think about Mamdani? You know, he wants to go full blown left socialism, and they're like, the party needs to learn that's the way. AOC, the party needs to learn that's the way. I can't wait to see the comedy gold we get out of.
And then Bernie Sanders is like, I've been saying this for 20 years.
I told you we need democratic socialism. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're ready for it?
Yeah, right. Maybe it was just, we needed some new blood. It's my idea. No, but I honestly can't wait to see, The thing is sometimes our country goes through tests, and if these people are really going to do this and vote this in, when they already had somebody like AOC, who I don't know how they haven't learned, she doesn't do anything.
No, she makes drinks. She makes cocktails for Nancy.
That is a wide known theory, and also probably less of a theory, more of maybe a reality. Based off Nancy lately, I know you saw the last few interviews.
Ooh, yeah.
That one where she just started chewing on air. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, no, it's really interesting. They're going for a full left push. Everybody's saying we want something in the middle. We really want something in the middle. So what's their solution? We can't fix anything. We've never had policy. Let's go farther to the left and see if we can actually get these people. Let's see if we can get the youth to believe it.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the thing. If they control the youth, they control the future. That's a leftist doctrine right there. And speaking of the track records that you mentioned earlier with socialism, yeah, usually leads to famine and just massive just death and shortages of everything, freedom, money, food, and we're seeing that here in California, California, as they often refer to it. It's embarrassing to have that nomenclature attached to it, but it is true, and we are facing even more when I talk about food shortages. I mean, they just shut the water off here in California. And before, farmers were getting insufficient amounts of water. Now they're just straight up getting zero.
How do you shore up your belief or your backing in a group of people who already offer no solutions and have done nothing to fix this country or fix their own states or cities? But now you're going to believe that they want to go all the way socialist, but they can't even give water to farmers. Like, they don't want to give anything to anyone. When it comes down to it, you see the way they'll take anything from anyone at any moment, but they're supposed to funnel it all back to you. It's not going to go back to them.
Well, the whole point is it's choking out the independence. They don't want you to have the ability to create for yourself. They want you dependent on their handout. And because when they force you in a position where you're dependent on them, all of a sudden, to continue to be sustained, you have to then support whatever the hell it is that they want or are calling for, because that's the only way you can live hand to mouth is from them. And that's why they hate the middle class. That's why they hate Donald Trump, because he grew it by 11% during his first term, which allowed people to create for themselves and say, you know what, I don't need the government, or I don't need this big megacorp to take care of me. I can do it and create for myself. And better than that, I can also help and take care of people that want to have employment through me. They hate that because they lose their power and their control. And what you mentioned too is that people are just fed up with the system that's broken. And I agree. People are so desperate for change. That's why they're willing to vote for a clown like Mamdani, whatever the hell is screw him. He sucks. Point is that people are so desperate that they're willing to vote socialism. And when you see the failures in California, people are always like, well, how are you going to beat this system? You're just going to, you're going to be the governor, and you're going to have all these other people that are super majority in legislature. Well, I agree that it's going to be an issue, but here's what we're not doing. We're not having those human interactions. Right now, we're pointing the finger and name calling. It's like, oh, you're a Republican, you're a racist, you're a Democrat, you're an idiot. Awesome. Did we accomplish anything? No. And then everything's based on party lines. And I always remind people that at the end of the day, like, it's still this one legislative body that passes these laws, and they impact everybody. So if we lose this whole left and right mindset, and we start focusing on, hey, this isn't working, and we can find ways to bring in net positive returns that are beneficial to the people and not just ourselves, then that's ideal. And I'd like to be able to break bread and sit down with everybody in the legislature one-on-one, or even have drinks with them, like whatever, just get to know them on a human basis and go from there. Because if you have an understanding of where they're coming from and where their mindset is, then you can better find a way to reach them in getting to understand your perspective. Or they're just going to be total wackadoodles, and you can just expose them on social media. And that's the thing, though, is that you're harnessing this tool of social media so well to get your message out that we, the people, can do that too and hold our leaders accountable.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it right now is that I'm willing to do I'm not just doing this. I'm not going on and saying, how, this guy goes out and he gets a flat tire and I'm not making some sort of like little everyday life joke out of something. My point is that I'm doing something that can actually help harness, the image and the influence of what, is happening with our politics. And I think that was a big thing for me too, is just, there is an important aspect to it. What comedy, joking, all that. The crazy thing is all of it adds up to being really influential, and it can help, like, for instance, Leo going out and being somebody that actually has a message and points out the things that these people aren't doing. I'm the kind of person who would love to be involved in pushing that message and showing just how the other failures are happening. And I've been known to do a few impressions of people that are good too. So you got to watch your back, Leo.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to if you can pull one out about me. I'd love to see what that looks like. But
we're gonna get together one more time and have and I gotta get a little loose and hang out, and then all bets are off.
Okay, that's fine. Look, and that's the other thing. Like, I can totally laugh at myself too. A lot of people have a hard time with that. Like, just own it. I'm cool with that. Like, if you got a good impression, or you're making fun of me for something I do, like, hell yeah, that's funny.
No, I think that it would be interesting to not so much portray you as just a person that's like kind of in the center of it, but put you in this arena with like a Gavin Newsom. That kind of thing in my mind is an interesting thing. Put you in the arena with some of these people, not necessarily a Newsom, but people that are kind of on this wacky path, and you have a common sense aspect of everything, and then contrast those characters is kind of like in my mind is going for the future. I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, I'm really disappointed that Kamala Harris didn't run, because I was going to mop the floor with her. I was really upset, because I was like, damn, like I was going to make her look real stupid.
Yeah, that's a lot of subject material right there. I think that's a Trump quote, actually. But it is kind of a shame. I do miss the era of the absolutely mindless Biden Harris thing, because there's no way that people like that can't be seen in the light they are if you just shine a light right on it. And now we've got a new kind of thing coming in. You've got Mamdani. This is going to be, I don't understand how they can sit in front of a camera and watch themselves back saying the things they said and think that they're somehow going to translate that. The only way they think they're going to translate that is if they get in and they're like, I'm going to do what my mentors did, maybe my Newsoms or whoever. And
I'm just say whatever the hell it takes to get elected.
And then just hold the spot, keep lying, hold the spot.
I mean, have you seen this other guy that he's like running for like mayor in Minnesota, the Somali guy who's like, he's like, yeah, we have to protect the undocumented people that are here. And it's just like, where the hell is this country going?
I don't get how people clearly voted for a shift back towards America, and then there's these, like we're saying, these radical left-wing, non-America first people. I mean, look, just relinquish the reins. If you're going to go so ridiculous that nobody wants it, just let go and stop trying to hold and gerrymander and do these things. Let go to what the people really want.
No, because they're psychopaths, Greg. That's the thing. Like, I thought about this. I did a little math. Let's just say 1% of the world is a psychopath, right? Out of 8 billion people, that's 80 million people. And let's say the top 1% psychopaths, right? The 0.01% of them. That's 800,000 people. That's enough to fill every top position in every government around the world.
It's starting to make more sense. The math is adding up now that I think about it, just thinking about some of the people that are already in office. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some people that are willing to do everything they've done to hold power, to lie to people, and to actually start to go down this path that you're seeing, where it's so apparent because of social media and what it's opened up to us seeing in our eyes of their true corruption. They're willing to go down any path with all of the eyes on them and everything, and still go for that, that dark, whatever thing it is in their lives, or whatever they're being money motivated to go for. They're willing to go for it. So they're sociopaths.
Yeah. No, it's really crazy. I mean, look, you draw attention to this. I know you're an America First guy. in the last minute here, what is your big hope for the future of America and for, what you can do to help people and what people can do just by learning from your comedy?
I think people can educate others on having common sense and voting for candidates and a movement, leaning towards a movement and pushing messages that are about the positive things they want to see with change in their lives, their families' lives, their kids' lives. Like, do you want to see a California in 15 years that was 15 years worse than I saw it 15 years ago, when now I was getting robbed before I was walking around the streets saying I want to move here? Do we want to see America go that way with this radicalness, or do we want to kind of go to the common sense first and say, let's come together and have conversations? I'd love to see conversations come back. Maybe comedy can open the door to that. Maybe some common sense people like you, Leo, can open the door to having real conversations, because you seem like a real guy.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Well, look, you make it happen. We're all in this fight together. You're trying to wake people up. I'm trying to just fix this damn thing, but everybody out there is frustrated, and that's the bottom line. Folks, please follow Greg at Greg is Fire or Greg on Fire, whether it's on TikTok or X or Instagram. He's got great content. It's going to make you laugh. And you know what the best thing you can do is share it with everybody else you know out there. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Greg, for being with us today. This has been America Matters. I'm Leo Zaki with Greg on Fire.
Thank you so much, Leo. I appreciate it, guys.
We'll see y'all next time.